Welcome to beautiful Welcome Falls Park as we talk some about my childhood. From another video I think you've seen, I talk about my hobbies and electronics, fixing TVs, and even doing naughty stuff like playing with locks I was not supposed to touch. Well, beyond all that beauty, my childhood was kind of lonely. I had trouble relating with people. My Asperger's was far worse, and my hearing was far worse. Sure, the people who mentored me in electronics, let's see, that would be Galen Vincent, David Clark, and of course, Paul Vankovich. They were wonderful people. I can relate with them fine. Also, a wonderful man by the name of Dr. Norman Leo Paul. He was my childhood psychiatrist in Boston. He was also on the Harvard Medical School faculty. Wonderful man, and he helped me a lot. He helped me come out of my shell and to really blossom and expose my colors and expose my true self to the world. He helped me be the goofy guy who is not afraid to shine his own true colors of the world. Thank you, Dr. Paul. I love you. And I give you full credit for what I have ended up being, even though it's goofy and a little bit weird. So let's talk about some things of my childhood that I have been keeping very, very deeply personal until right now. And now you can hear me bare my soul, my most private soul, in a very public place. The beautiful Fairhaven Chamber of Commerce gazebo in downtown Fairhaven. And so, here we go.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Fairhaven Chamber of Commerce gazebo here in downtown Fairhaven, which is a part of Bellingham, Washington. People have picnics here, people come here and play speech, whatever. It's like a little playpen. But I'm here because I want to use this very public facility to talk about some really, really private things in my life. Some of the things that I'm going to reveal here in this beautiful little gazebo, I have never revealed to anyone, including members of my family and my closest friends. Oh boy. In other videos, I have mentioned that I've been ostracized by gay communities in San Francisco and beyond. I'm hoping that this video will give you a clue on what's going on with me and why this may be happening. Let's start with birth. First of all, I was born with a cleft lip. If you look at me closely in person, look at my top lip right here, you will see a scene where the surgery was done when I was 2 years old. That caused a hearing problem. Hearing aid technology was not what we have now. So that caused me to get withdrawn, very withdrawn. Fortunately, there was a program in the state of Massachusetts where we lived. I was raised in Winchester, Massachusetts, for you Massachusetts folks out there. They had a program, and our family was able to be a beneficiary of the program where it funded visits to a psychiatrist by myself. My psychiatrist was a wonderful man by the name of Dr. Norman Leo Paul. Sometimes I go in tears when I mention that name. Really wonderful man. He was on the faculty of the Harvard Medical School in the psychiatry department, and he was extremely well known in psychiatry circles in the Boston area, and he helped me a lot. Where he helped me was to gain the courage to open myself up and come on out and interact with people, because I was extremely cloistered in my childhood. So, an interesting footnote to that, I had a reunion with him 20 years after my childhood. He cried. I mean, he was in tears when he saw how much I have developed in the 20 years. So, don't worry, this is just Bellingham television. You'll see it in a few weeks. So I give high accolades to Dr. Norman Leo Paul. He's passed on now. Hopefully he's up in the cosmos, perhaps sharing the same bedchamber and holding hands with Arthur Rosenall, my one and only true love, and watching me right now. Okay, so that's the cleft lip. I was also born with Asperger's. It was much worse then than now. Dr. Paul helped what he could with it, but there's some very important facts that he did not know that I'm going to reveal to you right now. I had what's called an Caul birth. What that means, for those of you who don't know, is that the umbilical sac, now for those of you who don't know that, the umbilical sac, it's a sac in which you are encased in and protected while you are in the womb. Normally the sac breaks when you come out of the womb. Mine did not. My umbilical sac, or aromatic sac is probably what it's called in some circles, did not break, and it was still complete when I was completely out of mom's womb. This is called an Caul birth. The sac is sometimes called the aromatic sac, okay? Now, I didn't know this at the time, and of course they took care of it. The surgeons cut it and everything was fine. However, I never knew it. It was when I was in the 5th grade when I knew something was very, very different with myself. Now briefly, I'm going to mention some very important aspects of the Caul birth when I get to beautiful Greenwich Park at dawn. Now, when I was 5 years old, I was in school. And I saw another student in my school, Lincoln School in Winchester. He was wearing a clear plastic raincoat. Suddenly, without any warning, there was a connection and synchronization between my mind and the cosmos. It's like when somebody in the data center control room in my brain tapped some keys on the keyboard, flipped some switches, and all of a sudden all the computers in the data centers in my brain started to synchronize with the same data coming down from the cosmos, something like that. I knew I wanted one, but I also knew I was really, really scared. Why I was scared, I think it's because, once again, some of the aspects and the, shall we say, features of the Caul birth maybe caused me to be afraid of it, because to treat it with respect and honor and treat it very, very special. So I was scared of it. How you doing? This is only for Bellingham television, so you'll see it in a few weeks on Channel 10 on cable on Sunday evening. So let's see what I was saying. I knew I wanted one of those raincoats, but of course I didn't have any money then. Later on, I had a paper route, saved up money, took the train from Winchester, Massachusetts to Boston, Massachusetts, and bought a ladies' clear plastic raincoat in the notions department of Jordan Marsh, okay, in Boston, for the princely sum of $3. And while I was there, I saw those clear plastic slipcovers. Yes, I know. Some of you are going to say, oh, what the heck are they? Now, you have to be about 55 to 60 years old minimum to know what those were. People covered their furniture in clear plastic because the fabrics technology was not anywhere near as good as it is today. So I bought a couple of those for the fun of it. They were $1.50 a piece, and I brought the whole mess home with me. Now, I love to wrap myself in the slip covers and sleep in them in bed with only my head sticking out. Otherwise, of course, I would suffocate. I knew basic common sense, and boy, it gave me a turn on. I mean, I look forward to going to bed and wrapping myself in the clear plastic slip covers. So there's that. The raincoat, I never wore it, except in the closet of my bedroom at 17 Crescent Road in Winchester, Massachusetts, okay? So, nobody knew it. My parents didn't know it. Nobody knew it, or at least I thought nobody knew it. Mom told me years later she found the raincoat in my closet, but she left it alone. She respected my privacy. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Virginia Allen. Mom is also up in the cosmos, along with my father. I think my father, mother, Dr. Paul, and Arthur Rosenau are now in the bedchambers watching me. So throughout my childhood in elementary school, I never wore that raincoat in public. In Winchester. In Marion, with Tabor Academy, a prep school, no way. I would never wear anything like that then. Tabor Academy is a whole study, and it deserves its own series of videos in parks elsewhere if I don't run out of parks. College, very interesting footnote. I never wore it outdoors. However, you may know that I was the chief engineer of the 2,000-watt FM radio station, WICN-FM, on the campus of Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Worcester, Massachusetts. I was there, class in 1976, electrical engineering, and because I was the chief engineer, I had the master key to their studios and their transmitter facility on the campus. And the transmitter facility is highly restricted. I mean, even the DJs could not get in there. So I had a private room outside the dormitory. So I put a classified ad in a gay newspaper in Boston. A man with weird fetish wants to play. And I didn't know what's going to happen. I got a response from a man in Boston. He drove to Worcester, and we quickly went to the Jordan Marsh store in Worcester Center to buy 2 clear plastic slip covers. We used a light bulb to seal them together to create a sack. And then we went to the transmitter room, let ourselves in, locked the door behind us, and we played, and we played, and we played with each other in that clear plastic sack for about 3 hours, nicely, safely ensconced in the transmitter facility of a 2,000-watt FM radio station on the Worcester Polytechnic Institute campus. Well, this is that. And then I moved to Maine, Lewiston, Maine, where I worked with WCBB-TV. No way, Jose. I was in a 10-year relationship with work. You'll learn about that in another video. Lewiston, Maine, let's see, we went to San Francisco, and I made some attempts to wear the clear plastic raincoats in the rain with clothes on under it and go to gay bars. Nope, get kicked out. I'll talk about that later. And I even tried to go to a gay bathhouse. And if you don't know, a gay bathhouse is a place where men go, and they take all their clothes off, they walk around naked looking for quick sex. Well, I wanted to be naked under my clear plastic raincoat for the fun of it. Nope, got kicked out of not 1, 2, 3 gay bathhouses for that. We'll talk about that later. Then after San Francisco, San Diego, I occasionally wear them on the streets, okay. Then Newport, Rhode Island, working for Raytheon. No way, Raytheon's a very conservative defense contractor. In Seattle, I started to come out of the cocoon, warm on the streets in Seattle, no problem. Then back to Boston, Massachusetts, worked for, by the way, interesting, you might be interested. Bolt, Bernick, and Newman was one of the firms that developed the first ARPANET. That's the predecessor of the internet. Very conservative, no way, I didn't wear it at all in Arlington, Massachusetts. Moved back to Seattle, started to wear them, then to Portland, wore them, and then here to Bellingham. Here in Bellingham, things change. I wear them all the time, and people love them. Let's take a look. Well, before I show you anything else, I need to say you have seen and heard me come out of one of the most private cocoons in my life. to let me step on out and be totally public about everything in my life, because, of course, it gives me freedom. Here we have one that I recently made, and I wear this all the time in the rain, and even when it's cold wind and damp, I wear it to let my beauty shine through. It is very much accepted here. Now, we do not have any bathhouses here, so I don't know what would happen there, but I've worn it at our one and only gay bar in this town, and I love to dance.
Dancing, dancing to the music, let my freedom shine to the world.
And there you have it. Now I know a lot more. The Caul birth that I had is said to also, by some, that it was on purpose by the cosmos, that I was to be protected. I was vulnerable. I needed to be protected and needed to be prepared to share wisdom and knowledge and love to others. No, go ahead. This is only Bellingham television. And share love and share color and everything else. I was a protected jewel. With that gift, however, comes responsibility. Let's traipse on over to Zwenich Park in the rising sun to talk about that. Welcome to Zwenich Park here in Bellingham at dawn. The dawn of my knowledge of what was going on took quite a while. Throughout childhood, I knew absolutely nothing except that I was extremely different. I did not know even the basics of what happened until I talked to my mother in around 2002, 2003, something like that, when I was living in Portland. That means childhood, college, and especially San Francisco. I just did not know. My mother explained to me what happened, that I was late coming out of the sack when I emerged from my mother's womb. But that's all I knew. She knew absolutely nothing else. So, which means that even when I had my time with Dr. Paul, we knew nothing. It was not until about 2 weeks ago when I made a posting on Reddit with a image generated by Blender of me in the sack. That's where I learned that it's called an Caul birth. And only about 1 in 70 to 80,000 births had this happen. I also learned that it's not all bad. In fact, some people hold it in reverence, that that I was held in safety, that I was protected because the cosmos, the God, knew that I was vulnerable. And vulnerability is not all that bad. Vulnerability teaches you some lessons that you need to treat others with full respect and not abuse them. You need to be sensitive. Your vulnerability forces you to be sensitive to others and not to just do things without thinking, is somebody going to be hurt? It also could explain why I have Asperger's. Okay, with Asperger's, it's interesting because with Asperger's, I feel that I am beyond the norms of society. I can push the norms of society aside and really think of the true of everything involved. So while I was in San Francisco, of course, I had absolutely no awareness of all this going on. Looking back on it, with this knowledge, I'm now fully aware that I stood apart. And the big reason I stood apart was this awareness and the wisdom that was passed down to me. That was another whole thing about the in Calvary. Many claim that you are gifted with wisdom, a deeper sense of wisdom coming down from the cosmos. Now, let's see. When I went to the bar, of course, I wanted to do it because I wanted to have fun and let my beauty shine in the rain. I thought at the time that was self-centered. But if we look at it with all the other knowledge I consciously have right now, and you look at the ethics, there's 3 layers: you, your organization, your family, and of course the world. At the time, I was thinking just me, okay, and having fun. Now, looking at it, it could be all 3. Yes, I was having fun and enjoying it, but letting my beauty shine through, no matter what's going on, can cheer up others, can give hope to others, to give them strength to see this person who is different and being free. Can they be free? Okay, so I was probably engaged in all 3 layers of ethics without even knowing it. Now, of course, as I will explain in another park, this failed. I get kicked out for wearing that raincoat in the rain and letting my beauty shine through. Or could it also be due to my Asperger's, my wisdom, my looking through the norms? I did not really conform to any of the norms of that society. The big failure, though, and very interesting, as I will mention to you all later again in Elizabeth Park. I wore the raincoat at a gay bathhouse. Quickly, a gay bathhouse is a place you go and you cruise around looking at others for quick sex. Everybody walks around the place, a maze, the hallways, whatever, naked or wearing a towel. I had this wacky idea on the surface. I had this wacky idea of having fun and really playing by wearing my clear plastic raincoat over my nude body, just for the fun of it, on the surface. Now, subconsciously, with the wisdom that was given to me, subconsciously feeding to my brain, could have I been assigned the role of protecting those men from sexually transmitted diseases. They were rampant, even though that was before AIDS. I'll talk about that in another video. And I figured, okay, because subconsciously now, not on the surface, of using the raincoat as a clear plastic, full body condom, that people can see my beauty, have sex through the plastic, and be protected from the diseases. Could that been a subconscious assignment from the cosmos? I didn't know it. Now, of course, I'll explain that this was a failure because the management of that place, actually 2 or 3 of them, threw me out. They asked me to leave. Because of what I was doing, they asked me to pack up and leave. So I failed I made the effort. And if you make the effort and you fail because it's not your fault, you still get, you're still okay. You did the effort. You made the effort. But I was scared because I was not aware that I was given that assignment. I was aware that I was only wanting to have fun. So all of this, with the Asperger's and this fashion fetish or fashion preference, most likely could be due to the Caul birth that happened to me. So I have to accept that and live with it and thrive on it and hold it in full respect, knowing that I may have been assigned to be the wise one of any group or place that I am at. No. Well, I think that's it for this video. I have to say though, with this video I have unveiled perhaps the most personal and private things of my life. Many of these things I have never even revealed to my family and my closest friends, having only learned about the whole concept of the Caul birth myself last week. You'll see this on Access Bellingham Television. You'll also see it on my YouTube and Vimeo channels, and the website where you can find this video and all my other videos about my life and my relationships with Arthur is on stories.ilovearthur.org. And there's a lot more information about myself and Arthur at ilovearthur.org, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. So of course, my salutation or kissing goodbye in all my videos. For those of you outside the Bellingham area, of course I love you all. For those of you who live here in Bellingham, yes, I am the goofy 70-year-old guy who dances on the streets and skips around willy-nilly, singing to myself something like this. The man I love is a rose in my heart. He's the light that guides my way. I dance in the streets. If you go to the YMCA, I sometimes dance on in the third floor weight deck or weight room at the YMCA. If you go to the Senior Activity Center, Bellingham Senior Activity Center, I will be dancing my freestyle dancing there during the ballroom dancing. And let's see, I've even danced at parties at our wonderful little yacht club, which is down there somewhere. Pretty much anywhere in town, including the Spark Museum, where I volunteer at. Of course, I have to be careful not to break any of the artifacts, and even during services at the Unitarian Fellowship. So, with all that, from deep within my heart, with my enduring love, I love you all.